I'm telling you, it's not the same virtually as in person.
I mean, there's a reason why I signed up in person.
Yeah, when you're in a room and there's...
Oh, we're live. Tony Robbins.
When there's 10,000 people in a building and literally the building is fucking shaking from everybody jumping and screaming. You can't recreate that virtually. When you're in your living room in your pajamas, it's not the same.
I'm honestly a little nervous about that portion of it. When we went to conferences and the whole like jump up and down, I'm not excited about that.
You will be like that for the first hour of Tony Robbins, and then you'll just check it out.
I'm hoping. That's what I'm really hoping. I want to be excited about it, but I'm like, this is weird to me. I don't like.
Everybody feels like that in the beginning.
Good.
Tom's gonna feel like that too, but we'll get him over it.
Okay.
We had a Tony Robbins speaker in the office recently. They're going back to live in person UPW events. So they have one coming up in November, and we have 30 plus people from our team going. Pretty excited.
I'm getting nervous.
It's like skydiving, huh? You like say yes, and then you're like, wait, what the fuck did I commit to?
No, because I'm not going to do skydiving.
What if there was like free cats when you landed?
No. All right, let's get this going. All right, you ready?
Been ready.
Kyle, one of the things that we get asked over and over and over in our Facebook group, on email, on YouTube is, what system do you use for this? Or I want to use systems to be more efficient, more effective. Today, I wanted to go through step-by-step, kind of a big overview of the tech stack that we use here at Whissel Realty Group to manage not only our transactions, but 100 agents, and what each of them kind of do as much as we can in 30 minutes.
Oh, this is going to be easy. We'll just talk about all of them for a minute, because we probably have 30 of them easily.
I know. We're going to have to exclude a lot of them.
We'll hit the ones that we use most frequently, we'll say.
Let's do that.
Let's go. So welcome to the Whissel Way Podcast. My name is Kyle Whissel, your host with eXp Realty here in San Diego.
My name is Bryan, Co-Chief Director of Marketing here at Whissel Realty Group.
The goal of the show is to give you the tools, techniques, and tactics to go out there and crush it in your business. The way that we like to do that is to answer the questions that you have for us. So this tech stack question has been one we've been asked many times. So here we are. We're going to answer that today. If you have a question for us, you want to have us feature on a future episode of the show, go to thewhisselway.com, thewhisselway.com. Ask us questions, subscribe to the podcast and YouTube channel, join our private Facebook group and email newsletter to get some tips and tricks, and get on our referral list for all the outbound referrals that we have leaving California. Lastly, if you want to really step it up with your content creation game, we have a course called the Media Mayor Mastermind, where we'll teach you everything Bryan and I have learned over the last 8+ years of content creation. We will shortcut that learning curve so you can get out there and crush it, all at thewhisselway.com. Let's roll. We got a lot to cover, so we're going fast.
The first thing that people always ask is, what CRM do you use? What CRM should I use? What's the best CRM? I bet you those three questions are asked more than anything else.
So the right answer is the CRM that your team or brokerage already gives you, that you pay little to nothing for and just aren't using. Like, that's the real answer. Most people actually have a really good CRM that's available to them. They just don't use it, or they've never taken the time to learn it, so they just say negative things about it. But the reality of it is, if they dove into the existing system they already have, it's probably more than good enough for what they need to accomplish. With that said, if you want to take it to like another level, if you're looking to scale and build a large team, like Bryan said, we have 100+ agents on our team now. Your off-the-shelf basic CRM is probably not going to cut it. So when you start to level up and you want to build a large team, you need a system that can handle that. And for us, we use Follow Up Boss for that. We have found that Follow Up Boss there's three key things that make Follow Up Boss special. Number one is the automations. So the amount of things you can automate within the system is huge. When you have 100+ agents, you need to minimize manual tasks and increase automated tasks. So it does a really good job with that. Second is it has its ability to be customized. So automations and customizations. And when you are building a big team, you need to be able to customize stuff. The off-the-shelf stuff just doesn't typically work. As you scale up to a larger and larger organization, you need to custom build it. Much like in other industries, people use Salesforce and then they custom build it for their industry or for their organization. Follow Up Boss is kind of like the Salesforce of real estate. It is the system that can be fully customized to make it exactly what you want it to be, you're not stuck with the pre-built version of the system where you can only do what was built for you. You can't build anything yourself. So we love the ability to customize Follow Up Boss. And then the third thing is the integrations, which is massively important. So if your systems don't all talk to each other, you start to run into a lot of issues where your data is either dirty, meaning it's not accurate, or you're doing a lot of manual data entry to connect everything together. So the ability to integrate it with a variety of other tech tools is massively important. So automations, customizations, integrations.
Very cool. And that leads right into our next technology that we use. Follow Up Boss is a CRM, a client management system, customer management system.
Customer relationship manager.
Wow, I got it way wrong. I did it in the wrong order and everything.
It's fine.
So Follow Up Boss we use as our back-end system.
Yeah.
We need something that consumers can come to and go start into our system. What do we use for that?
Yeah. So if you call Follow Up Boss and you're like, I need a CRM and a website, they're going to say, that's cool. We don't do websites. They're solely the back end behind the scenes. No consumer knows that you're using Follow Up Boss. It is completely behind the scenes. So in front of the curtain is Ylopo, is who we choose to use. So Ylopo is our website. So if somebody goes to whisselrealty.com, it is a Ylopo website. We did a custom one. But even their off-the-shelf sites are great. We just chose to build it out custom to, again, we need, as you build up 100 plus people, you need to be able to customize stuff. Ylopo gives you that ability. So that is the website. That's the IDX search on the website. So that's what people are searching properties on. That also handles our email marketing on the back end. It handles our retargeting on the back end. It handles promotion of our listings. It handles lead generation, lots of things. So that's definitely, Follow Up Boss and Ylopo are our number 1 and 2 most important systems, I would say. But they also work seamlessly together because they're both very integratable, which is necessary, right? We don't mess with systems anymore that cannot integrate into other systems. We need everything to be able to talk to each other, and Ylopo and Follow Up Boss talk to each other perfectly.
All right, from there, let's go to...
Why don't we talk about how they talk? Let's go there.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, so there's 2 different systems that we use for this. One is called Zapier, and yes, it's Zapier. It's not Zapier. It befuddles me that people, oh yeah, I'm gonna build a Zap in Zapier. Do you realize how stupid that sounds? Like, you build a Zap in Zapier. That's why it's called. Yeah, where are you getting Zapier from? I don't get it. If you ever want a question, just go to Zapier's YouTube channel and listen to them say their name. So Zapier, and what Zapier does is it basically takes 2 systems that have either open APIs, which that one I don't know the something protocol. I don't know what API stands for.
Advanced, probably.
API
Interface.
basically says like, hey, we have all this information available, and we'll kind of open it up, and you can either push or pull in and out. Or webhooks is a kind of higher level. So we work with systems that all have open APIs and or utilize webhooks. And so Zapier can take 2 systems and connect them together. So you can take Follow Up Boss and Ylopo, and with Zapier, you can connect them together. Now, most of the integrations between the 2 is already kind of automatic and seamless, but you can also layer on additional integrations. You could take something like Google Sheets and integrate it with Follow Up Boss. You could take Google Calendar and integrate it with Gmail. Like, there's all kinds of things, but Zapier effectively connects 2 different systems together.
2 or more.
Yeah, you can go crazy with it. And you can have it kind of automate tasks that again would otherwise be manually done. At any given week, we're running between 15 and 20,000 zaps. 15 and 20,000 zaps in any given week. So that means we're running somewhere around 50 to 100,000 zaps in a month. Think about the amount of manual tasks that would be completed if we weren't using a system like that. So that is a vital part of our business, and it makes sure that, hey, if something happens here, do that there. So we use that. And then the second one that we utilize is called Interface. I like this one so much, I actually invested into the company. And Interface has been very pivotal in connecting some of our real estate specific ones at a much higher level. Zapier can do I would say entry to mid-level integrations, and then Interface comes in and does the mid to high-level integrations between systems. So it really allows our Follow-Up Boss. We can do something in Follow-Up Boss that automatically pushes to Sisu, which we'll talk about. It pushes to Monday. It pushes to Google Calendar. It connects a whole lot of systems together that Zapier can't do. And also, we're starting to build out some really cool reporting features with Interface. We'll probably do a whole separate episode on that, because there's a lot of things that we're all doing very, very wrong in the real estate industry when it comes to tracking and measuring our business. And so we'll save that conversation for another day.
I can't wait for that to get integrated, because we've been trying it for years and can't figure it out.
Yeah. So Interface, it's very, very pivotal. If you're using something like Follow-Up Boss and Sisu, it just builds amazing integrations, or Monday. That really is kind of that second level of integration that's necessary when you're running a organization that'll sell 500 million.
Yeah, the really cool thing about Interface is it'll allow you to pull in data that's already in systems. I don't know. As I explained it sounds like Zapier, but we're able to do basically when we can't do anything through Zapier, or we want it to be a lot more custom, we use Interface.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, there's limitations to Zapier, where with Interface, if it can be done, we will make it get done.
So let's talk about Sisu. So
Yeah.
we already talked about integrating with Sisu. What is Sisu, and how do we use it?
Sisu, I believe they refer to it as a sales management system. And it's basically where we track and measure everything that's happening in our business. So we're tracking things like how many appointments are we setting? How many of them are we meeting with? How many are we signing? How many are going under contract? How many are closing? What are the ratios between all of those things? We track all of our transactions in there. So I could tell you at any given time, how many do we have pending? How many do we have closed? What's our volume? All that stuff. I can look at where are we at 2023 versus 22 versus 21. I can look at my income, so I can see how much money do I have. Did I make each individual month on a top line? How much came to me? How much went to the agent? So you've got some accounting in there. They also have some transaction management stuff in there. So there's a lot that you can do with Sisu. The thing that we found, though, is we need to keep our agents out of Sisu. The more the agents are going in there and manually putting their data in, the more jacked up it is. So with Interface, connecting Sisu and Follow-Up Boss together, it's really made sure that we have much more clean data going from Follow-Up Boss into Sisu. When we had our agents manually going into Sisu, the data was crap, and you'd have the same file in there 2, 3, 4, 5 times. I don't even know how somebody could put something in there 5 times, but they'll figure it out. So we really keep the agents out of the data entry side of Sisu, because we have all these integrations set up that automatically get the data in there and to make sure that it's clean data.
Yeah, but what we love about Sisu as well is a lot of those reportings that you talked about, they're already built for you. They're really easy to see. It's really easy to pull. One of the things that I love is the reports tab, or leaderboards, and you can see who is top in your company based on closed GCI, closed volume, closed numbers, appointments met, appointments set, like based on a bunch of things. And because we're pulling that good data in from utilizing Interface from Follow-Up Boss, these are how it all connects. They can go and see these great reports without any one of us on the team.
Them. Yeah.
Yeah.
The cost, the development cost, if you were to build out everything that Sisu has, would be absurd. So they've custom, or I wouldn't say they custom, but they've pre-built as many reports as you could possibly think of. And they're typically very receptive. Like, hey, it'd be really cool if this existed, that existed. They develop at a reasonably high rate, and are adding features. And there's the web-based version, there's the app-based version. You can also run a contest in there, which is really nice too. So if you have a sales team and you're not running a contest, your numbers are lower than what they could be. If you run contests, it's amazing how motivating a simple contest can be for agents.
All right, let's talk about another system that we keep agents out of. Let's talk about OTC.
Yeah, so OTC stands for Open to Close. This is our preferred transaction management system. And again, the number one reason we like this thing is basically the same thing as all these, right? The amount of automations, customizations, and integrations between these. So what we love is the seamless integration with Follow-Up Boss, to where as an agent, if I load up my Follow-Up Boss profile and I have something pending, I can see all the key dates at a glance. I know exactly when did this thing go under contract? When do we have to remove contingencies? When are we closing, right? I have access to that at a glance. I don't have to go bounce between 2 or 3 different systems. So having that all inside of Follow-Up Boss is really important, right? We want to minimize the number of clicks and the number of systems agents have to use. So same reason we keep them out of CSU, we keep them out of OTC. Like our admins are all over in those systems and they're fine with multiple systems, but we try to just keep the agents focused in, as few systems as possible, primarily Follow Up Boss, and we take care of all that other stuff for them. So OTC transaction management this one's a heavy lift, right? Like this is, of all the systems we have, this one requires probably the most build out because this is very customizable, but that takes a lot of time to build it all. But this is one of those, if you take, and it took us a quarter to build this out. And when I say us, I basically mean Shannon.
Shannon, yeah.
I don't want to take credit for it. But it took like a quarter for one of our high level employees to build this entire thing out. So this is not an easy one, but once you build this out, the amount of files that you can manage drastically increases because so much stuff is happening automatically. It's like, if this happens, then send this email. If that happens, send this text message. Like the amount of stuff that can be automated in this system with all the different, checklists and templates and everything that are built in there, it makes our transaction coordinator's job significantly easier.
Well, and speaking of that, it took, like we said, it took Shannon a whole quarter to build it out from scratch. But now, even though we spent time, money, energy on having her do that, now she's able to have these checklists and automations work and be able to use employees that don't have to get that high level thinking over and over. And where you get that high level, it depends on this or that, that's when mistakes get made.
Yeah.
So we make it as seamless and black and white as possible. If this here, if that there.
Yeah.
And so we're able to do more transactions and less mistakes. So because we don't have to have that difficulty of decision making at every level.
Yeah, I mean, one thing you could think about is like McDonald's, for example, right? Like McDonald's has their processes dialed in so tightly that they can hire anybody. They can hire people with the highest IQ in the world, the lowest IQ in the world, and people can still thrive in that environment because of the system. So there's a saying when we run our company on EOS, Entrepreneur Operating System, and it says that the systems run the company, the people run the systems. The systems run the company, the people run the systems. So if we can put the right systems in place, the company is going to run, and we can plug people into those systems. And so we've been able to offload, like our whole listing coordination is also built inside of Open to Close. Like we've been able to completely offload that position to one of our international team members, where we don't even have to have somebody in-house to run that, right? We can run that internationally for a fraction of the cost. And our transaction management, half of that is run by our international team. So by building the right systems for the business, we can drastically decrease our people cost.
And all of these that we've talked about so far, if you're thinking about scaling, if you're thinking about growing, as you grow, your costs increase. The great thing about these is you can limit the increase of your cost, but allow yourself to still scale really big by utilizing these systems.
Yeah, I mean, some of these systems are almost cost prohibitive when you're small. The bigger you get, the cost per agent decreases because very few of them scale linearly. As you grow in agent count, the cost is not typically, some of these might grow, but a lot of these systems, the cost is not linear per agent. It's not X dollars per agent for eternity. As you start to scale up to more and more agents, the cost per agent typically decreases. And some of these are just flat rate.
All right, let's kind of switch gears here. Actually, let's keep going with the admin systems. Let's talk a little bit about Monday.com and how we use that.
Yeah, so Monday, I believe they refer themselves as like a task and project management platform. So the thing that I compare Monday to, it's kind of like three systems combined into one. It has the spreadsheet capabilities of Google Sheets or Excel. It has the visual appeal of something like Asana or Trello. And then it has the integrations of like Zapier. Now, is it each of those at the highest level? No, but it's like, let's call it like you guys love your decimals, a 7.5 out of 10 of each of those three systems. But to be able to not have to utilize all three of those systems, to have that all in one, because again, as the bigger you get, the less systems you have, the better. When you're using 500 different systems at our size, that's a real big headache. So we're always looking for ways to minimize the total number of systems we're using in our tech stack. And Monday really allows us to do that. And so we do basically, if there's a a system that is built for a specific purpose, like open to close is specifically built for transaction management. We tried to build it in Monday, it sucked because there's a system built for that singular purpose. So when there is an existing system built, we will use it. If one does not exist, we will build it inside of Monday. For example, I don't know of a really good system for tracking outbound referrals. I don't know of a good one. So we built one inside of Monday. So now when one of the agents on our team has a referral they need to send out, they fill out a form and that pushes it into a Monday board. And then I will choose an agent that we're going to send that referral out to. Again, get on that referral list, thewhisselway.com. I'll choose an agent to refer that out to. And then once I do that, all I put is the agent's info in. I hit a button. It automatically sends an email to the agent. Hey, you have a new referral. Here's the details. It automatically generates a referral agreement inside of DocuSign and sends it for signatures. And then it automatically reaches out to the agent on a periodic basis. Hey, how's it going? How's it going? Give us an update. All inside of Monday. So like anytime there's a system that is needed and there's not one built for that purpose, we just build it inside of Monday. So, that would be one example is a referral tracking system. We've also used it for like event coordination and a variety of other tasks and projects.
Well, a lot of the systems in my team use Monday.com, event coordination,
photography planning. Right?
So many things. So I love Monday. As we're talking about communication, let's kind of switch into how we communicate as a team. First, let's talk about our direct message communication. We use an app called Slack.
Yes. We previously used Workplace by Facebook, and some of you guys are using actual Facebook, which is the worst thing in the freaking world.
We previously used...
When we were very small, we used regular Facebook. That's one of the worst mistakes I think you can make as a team leader is having a Facebook group for your team and that being your communication system. You're forcing people to go somewhere that is just riddled with distractions. Like it's the worst thing you could do is force people to go somewhere where they're going to get distracted. Like every time I go to Facebook, I don't know why Instagram doesn't, but Facebook like preview stories. I can't help but click on a couple of those, right? Like as soon as I go to Facebook, I'm clicking on, some reels, and who knows how long. If they're good, there's 10 minutes gone. You don't want to force your team to go do that. So you need to get them off Facebook. We used Workplace by Facebook, which was a good system for us for a while, but the chat and DM communication inside of there, we felt was very limited as you scale up. As you start to get more than like 20, 30 people, having that many people in a single chat, it gets noisy and people just kind of check out. So we outgrew that and we landed on Slack. Again, Slack, automations, customizations, integrations. So that is how we communicate both directly. So if I need to send Bryan a message directly, I'll do that in Slack. But then within Slack, we also have channels for all kinds of things, for sales, for our admin team, for marketing, right? We have specific channels, but the beauty of all those channels is we can segment the conversations. So the media and marketing team doesn't really care too much about how many homes, Evan sold last month. Like they don't care so much about that. So we can have a channel just for the agents for that kind of stuff. And nor does Evan care so much about did Cedric finish editing this video, right? Like they don't need to see that stuff. So you're able to segment out the communication via channels. And then the biggest thing that I love in Slack is threads. So if there's a post that's made and somebody replies, we don't have to notify the entire company. With threads, we can thread that conversation and only those that are part of the thread are going to get the notifications when there's new messages in there, not the whole company. So a lot of other systems out there, you get far too many notifications. And as you scale up, you cannot over notify your people because if you over notify them, then they check out.
Yeah. Now we have it all in one spot. We don't have emails and we keep it all in one spot.
Yep.
Emails, text messages. We dealt with that. Google Hangouts and Facebook Messenger. We dealt with all that before. Keeping on communication. How do we, let's talk about Trainual and how that's kind of our hub for our, everything in our company that has longevity.
Yeah. So Trainual has three primary purposes for us. Number one, it's a learning management system, often referred to as an LMS. So when we have new agents that join the company, we have all the trainings built into this system. How do you use all these systems we just talked about? There's a training for each of them. How do I use Follow Boss? How do I use YLOPO? How do I use this, that? So there's trainings with either step-by-step processes in there and or videos to accompany those explaining exactly how to do stuff. So part one of it is LMS, the learning management system for agents who join our company so they know how to do stuff. Part two is there's a really good directory, which is important at our size. Between agents and admins, there's 120 plus people in this company. Knowing who is who, how to contact them, what's their role. So you have an org chart in there, so you can see who reports to who, what their job is, and all their contact info. So if you ever need to reach somebody on the team, you can go into that directory and it's all available to you. So I think that's really big as a company scales. And then number three is the FAQ portion of it. So we take all of our previous office meetings, we put them in there. We put all of our vendors in there. We put, just general FAQs like, hey, where do I get information about the broker caravans? All that type of stuff is in there. And then the searchability of the system is phenomenal. I love the searchability. So I can just go in the search bar and I could just type in like, we just had a new home warranty rep, like it transferred. And I just wanted to go see like how we already adjusted that. So I just went in there, typed in home warranty. There's an article with home warranty, and great. I was really proud. The team had already updated it, which was cool.
I think I was the one that did it. So if you said
like,
no, I would be
that's
pissed.
in there, right? So I type in home warranty, and boom, here's the contact. Here's everything I need to know about home warranties. That's all in there. Or maybe I type in something about ADUs. Like I type in ADU. Oh, look, we did an office meeting about ADUs, and I can find that. So it's a really good FAQ system. So our agents know if they ever have a question, they go to Trainual first, ask the question in there, and 9 times out of 10, they're going to get the answer. And they don't even have to bug anybody. Then if they can't get an answer, they can come over to Slack and the answer will be in, they can ask their peers and get the answer in Slack. But by them not having to constantly ask questions does two things. One, it's really beneficial for the agent because they can get answers to what they need when they need it. And two, they're not bugging the rest of the agents to get those answers.
Let's end with one more. This is ending on number 10. Let's talk a little bit, and I know we talked about this when we talked about building your perfect listing presentation, but talk a little bit about the power of High Note.
Yeah, so High Note, love this system. What it does is kind of takes what would normally be like a slide deck presentation, and it puts it into a format that's really clean. We utilize it as like a pre-listing and just a general pre-appointment system. We had a huge interview for an opportunity last week. We utilized High Note for that. So you can kind of prime the pump, so to speak, and send information over to a potential buyer, potential seller, potential channel partner with information about who you are to position yourself ahead of the competition so that when you show up to that appointment, you don't have to waste time on that stuff. You can focus your time on building the relationship. And I find that to be really important. So for example, if I'm going to meet with a seller, I want to let them know a little bit about reviews from our clients, some testimonials from our clients. I want to give them information about some of our USPs, things that we do different, right? So I'm positioning myself before I walk through the door for that appointment so that when I do, I'm already way ahead of the competition. It's like running a 100-meter dash and I'm starting at the 50, right? Like that's a huge advantage.
Well, and the cool thing is you can see behind the scenes.
The analytics, right?
Yeah.
So again, we had this big interview last week. Like I could see when did that person open it? I could see what did they look at? I could see how long did they look at it for? I could also see if they didn't open it. Like I had sent it 2 days before the meeting and it didn't get opened. So the day before the meeting, I was able to bump the message. Hey, I just want to make sure it's really important you review this. And then the information got reviewed. So I know what they looked at. And then I also can tell if somebody selectively looks at stuff, doesn't look at everything, I can tell what their personality is before I go into the appointment. Where if all they did is look at like the data metrics, they're probably a high C. If they looked at just the people stuff, they're probably a high S, right? So like I go in and I have a little bit of direction of where I need to go with my presentation before I ever even walk in the door.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
That was 10 of our like 30 systems. So, but those were our big 10, I think.
Yeah. Absolutely. So yeah, hopefully that was valuable for you guys. That's a lot of what we do. Full disclosure, a lot of these systems, we get complimentary. We support a lot of these vendors. So I don't want to like hide or bullshit you guys. But there's not one system that I will ever plug that I don't personally use. I just want to make sure I put that out there. We get a lot of companies who reach out like, oh, will you promote us? We'll pay you. Like I will never promote anything unless I actually use it on a regular basis and believe in it. So a lot of these systems, they are partners with us, and we have relationships with them where we either have little to no cost. But I promise you, I'll never promote anything. Like, you have my word on that. I'll never promote a single system or product if I don't truly believe in it and use it. So I just want to throw that out there as a disclaimer. Sometimes people aren't forthright with those things, and I think that's really important. So I want to make sure to throw that out there. Hopefully you got some value out of this today. If you did, if you are listening on a podcast platform, make sure to subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. And if you haven't written a review, we'd love if you could write a review. Maybe share which of these systems was your favorite in that review. That would be super cool. And if you are watching on YouTube, hit the thumbs up button so YouTube knows you enjoyed the show. And if you want more of it, then hit the subscribe button along with the little notification bell. And if you have questions, you could throw them in the comment section. Bryan and I personally respond to all of those. And yeah. But it's fun. I like talking systems. I get excited.
I know. I love it.
And it's a Monday and we got energy today. So
yeah,
let's freaking go. Cool. Well, before we wrap the show, one of the things that we like to do is share something we utilize in our business that either saves us time, makes us more money, or just helps us have more fun. We refer to that as the Whissel widget of the week. What do you got for us, Bryan?
I'm going to go with my widget. I'm going to do another system if you're not tired of systems yet. And this is a system that we use primarily in the media team, and it's called Acuity. And we use this to allow agents to book our photo shoots. The thing that we were looking for when I was setting this up is something that we can take payment before the process. Before we use this, I would do like a Google form, and then I would chase them down for payment. And it was half of my job fighting agents, and it wasn't fun. But Acuity is really cool. You can set specific time for, Tom's available on this time at from these time slots. Chad's available earlier or later. Neither of them are available on Thursday or whatever it is. So we use it for that, but we also use it for booking our conference rooms. I think we looked into using it for booking our trucks. We've done a bunch of different things with it. So if you're looking for something to, and the other thing that I really like about this is it can help make sure you're not overbooking things. It's kind of like Calendly on steroids. Don't get mad at me, Calendly. But I can do a lot more with Acuity than I can with Calendly.
If they gave us Calendly for free, we might feel otherwise.
They don't give us Acuity for free either.
No. But if Calendly gave it to us for free, we might think
we'd figure out more ways to use it for sure.
Cool. The one I want to share with you, this one's somewhat unique. I travel a lot, sometimes for events, sometimes for family, and sometimes just for investment purposes. And oftentimes when I'm arriving at hotels that are outside of their typical check-in period, which can be a headache. When you arrive somewhere at like 1 o'clock, but they're like, oh, you can't check in until 4 o'clock. It's a freaking headache. So I utilize Amex credit cards. Particularly, I have a gold and a platinum card. Each one has different bonus structures that are beneficial. But the beauty is when you book hotels with Amex, they have three different types. The normal booking, they have something called Hotel Collection, and then they have another thing called Fine Hotels and Resorts. And when you stay, depending on the level that you book, these things will come with early check-in and late check-out, which is oftentimes very, very important. There's nothing worse than like getting to a hotel and then they're like, oh, well, your room's not ready. It'll be ready after 4 o'clock. And you're like, all right, I guess I'll leave my bags here and I'll go try to find something to do. Like, it's a huge headache to deal with that. So the early check-in, late check-out, automatically, huge plus. Additionally, you'll get like $100 credit to use like at the spa or towards dining, things like that. They'll typically give you room upgrades. There's a lot of really cool stuff. So if you're somebody who travels a lot, I would definitely get dialed in with an Amex card. Oh, by the way, they have a referral bonus. So if you want a hookup and to get some bonus miles, shoot me a DM at Kyle Whissel. I'll send you my link and I can then probably get you more sign-up miles than you could get if you just go straight to the website. But Amex, Fine Hotels and Resorts, and Hotel Collection are very vital to my consistent travel.
Very cool.
Awesome. Hopefully you guys got a lot of value out of the show today. We appreciate you tuning in and we'll see you next week. Kyle Whissel with eXp Realty.
Bryan Coachy. It's a weird ending.